Hello, YouTube world. Welcome back to the One in a Million channel. My name is Eunice Chan, and today I have something different to share with you guys. So, in the last couple of days, I have been in a state of like zombie-like lifestyle. And I have had some very profound insights and findings and experiences that I want to share with you after having come back from what really felt like death to me. And I was not in a low emotional place, but what I've discovered to be extremely unmotivational, extremely like low energy, extremely feeling like I can't bring myself to do anything. I just stopped caring. Like from that place, I realized there was a new level of consciousness and awareness and even power and a new level of creativity that just like like came out from me out of nowhere. And I believe that what I'm about to share with you today is really going to help you tap into that place where you can find that spark within you, that life force within you, without even really having to try. So, something really spoke to me through this experience, and I just wanted to share this feeling and this level of consciousness with you so that we can all be in it together. Um, so, the backstory of how this even came about was, you know, as you have been on my channel for quite a while, if you have watched some of my videos, you'll know that I regularly produced lots of content and I'm very in touch with my life. I'm very in touch with my energy. I am extremely motivated. I'm very pulled by this vision that I have to express myself and to build this channel and create a community and a relationship with you guys. And oftentimes when I'm creating something, it's really from this place of tap into what wants to be expressed right now. Like express yourself. And I've always found something to express. There was always something that I wanted to share. There was always an insight. There was always like a spark. There was always something that just like came through me. But it was always self-initiated, meaning that I would kind of kick myself in the butt and be like, it's time that you share something. So oftentimes when I feel like my energy is slipping a little bit, I'm always on guard in watching and monitoring my energy. I'm always watching my emotions, always inspecting, always paying attention, always being aware, always checking in with myself, checking with how I'm feeling and everything. And whenever I feel like I'm slipping off a little bit, I always come back. I always get back into my routine. I always just make sure that I feel aligned with myself, even if I don't feel good. I always allow myself to just feel that. And so I'd allow myself to gently bring myself back to my routine and feel good and, in this place where I want to be self expressed. But it was always being driven by this fear of just being unmotivated, this fear of, I think it's a very deep seated fear of what if I stopped caring? And so to run away from that and in efforts to avoid that, I really tried my best effort to not allow myself to feel that. It was really driven by a deep, anxious feeling of what if I stop caring one day? What if I don't motivate myself? What if I stop feeling the spark? like, like I couldn't imagine what that would be like. That concept was so out there for me. It was so foreign to me. It was so scary for me that I didn't even allow myself to tread near that space. And so I always, I'm like a guard dog. Like I'm always closely guarding my energy so that whenever my energy slips off, I'm back. Whenever my attention wanders off, I'm back. And I always like pull myself back. And, I'm always carrying this sense of self accountability, because if I'm not accountable for myself, then who's going to bring me back, right? But it was always this looming fear that is kind of in the back of my mind. If I stopped being on guard, and I stopped checking in, and I stopped like just watching myself all the time, then I would just let myself go, and then everything would crumble. Like my reality would just like melt completely. So one day, having this realization, I remember a very distinct moment where I felt this, where I was like, what if I just let myself go? What if I just stayed in bed and felt absolutely no guilt about it? If I just let myself do whatever and not be motivated and not express myself and just shut off for a little while and not feeling like my energy has to always be watched, what would happen? Because I was so tired of feeling this, this subtle sense of anxiety that if I don't watch my energy, everything's going to fall apart. And so I decided to do a little experiment to actually give it a try, to actually feel completely unmotivated. And I had no idea how long it was going to take. I did not have an agenda, I did not have a timeline. I just decided that, well, if that didn't work, and I really don't prefer to feel that way, and I don't really like having that looming fear over my head, then maybe I'm just gonna let go and see what happens. And I'm really glad that I listened to this internal nudge, because um, there was some very powerful discoveries that I found along the way that really transcended my way of living and doing things. So for a few days, I felt completely unmotivated, and I'm talking about staying in bed like way past the afternoon, going to turn on my computer just to turn it off again, going to my journal just to realize that I really had nothing to write about, um, staring at a blank page, and then just turning off my computer again. Like it was that feeling, checking messages and then not wanting to reply. Going back to bed, even when I don't really feel sleepy, I just had no physical energy. I didn't even want to work out. I didn't even want to do like a 1 minute plank. And to the point where I didn't even want to bring myself to want to do it. So I had zero motivation, zero intention to improve my mental and energetic state. It was just like, well, okay, it is what it is. It is what it is. And for a moment, it actually felt really scary because my life felt really empty. And all I did was just the bare necessities. I was still holding space for myself. I was still holding space for my clients, but outside of that, I had no energy for anything else. Nothing at all. And it felt really scary because the more I felt that, the more tired I felt, and the more I wanted to stay in bed, and the more I wanted to hide away from the world, the more I didn't want to express myself, and the more I realized, well, I really actually didn't have anything to express because I didn't experience life and I was just in bed, and really, really feeling like, oh, this is really what it feels like to give up on myself. And let me tell you, it felt like, oh my gosh, like if my life ended right here, it would have meant nothing at all. Like that's what it felt like, because I came to a point of, wow, if I let myself be this way, there really is nothing to my life. There's nothing. You know, it's like there's nothing that I care about. There's nothing I want to do. There's nowhere I want to be. There's no one I want to connect with. There's nothing I want to express. I was just in bed for the last couple days, and there's nothing that came through. It's like my chest cavity. It felt like it was empty. My mind was empty. I was not thinking about anything. I was not processing anything. There were no emotions. I just didn't feel anything at all. And it was a really, really like intensely scary feeling of just deep, deep unmotivation. It was like it was just this feeling of like I don't have a care for the world and myself. But in this discomfort and in holding space for myself to experience this, and somehow I was still tethered to a little like string of light somewhere. I don't know. My guardian angel is probably like still kind of leading the way, and I was hanging by a little thread. And in the discomfort, I sensed that there was a purpose in this feeling of just complete letting go. I sensed that there was a new kind of consciousness and a new way of doing things and a new lifestyle that was kind of being birthed through this broken paradigm. And I had to break the paradigm. I had to break myself. Like I symbolically had to die in order for this new way of life and this new level of consciousness to emerge. And so, in my despair and absolutely like state of no energy, absolute state of no like motivation and care for anything in this life, like I was just functioning on autopilot. Like I was walking my dog, doing the things, clocking the hours, drinking water, going back to bed, getting out of bed, washing my hair, like just doing all those human functional things, but like but like I didn't feel anything. And in this discomfort and in my questioning, I found that there was an inkling. It's like a tiny little spark when you put two wires together, and then it goes like pss, pss. There was this life force that came out of nowhere that just started sparkling. And that life force required no supervision. It required no watching over. It required no motivation, no control. Like I didn't have to try to make it happen. It was just like two wires being fused together, and then just something happened, and it was completely out of my control. It was involuntary. It was not something that I had I had any control over or influence over. I did not make that spark happen, but I felt that there was a spark inside of me. It's like it's like my heart just started involuntary beating again at its own will, and I was not doing it. I was not controlling it. And all of a sudden I opened myself up to this sense of openness and allowing. All of a sudden thoughts started flooding back to me, and inspiration started flooding back to me in a way that I was not even trying. So in the past, like I was still in the past I was feeling lots of inspiration, creativity. We talk plenty about creativity and insights on this channel, and getting divine downloads. But a lot of it was self-initiated, in a sense that, if I asked myself a question, for example, if I asked my higher self a question, I'd always get an answer, right? I'd always lead myself somewhere. I'd always give myself a certain prompt so that I can get a certain answer. But it was always generated by myself. It was initiated by myself. And there was always this sense of like control. If I don't initiate that, nothing's going to come. But with this spark, and I felt the little sizzle, the little tingling feeling inside of me, and I started feeling a sense of openness and allowing allowing. And this sense of allowing was not, it did not happen with self-initiation. It was just something that flowed through me. I started feeling creativity, ideas, energy moving through me. Even the result of this video, even just doing this video, was a result of me just feeling this life force course through my body. It's a very gentle wave of life force coming through me. It's not like, oh, I decided I'm going to share something today. Oh, I wanted an inspiration. Oh, I wanted to use this time to express myself. It's like, no, it's just happening through me. And it really is the most powerful feeling. And I would not replace this feeling with anything else in the world. And I really do not want to go back into the old way of doing, because just being in an acceptance of this new way of life, it allows me to feel so much more open, and it makes me feel so much more receptive. It's like I don't want to control anymore. As a matter of fact, I just want to lose complete control. Whatever it is that I'm still controlling in life, and whatever it is that I still feel like I need to have a grip over in life, I don't want that, because this new level of power that is coming to me and coming through me, that is coursing through my body, it is 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more powerful and more potent and more resonant with my heart and my mind than when I try to kick myself in the butt and start something and initiate something. And so this is what it really feels like to respond to life. It's just letting life happen and allowing myself to lean back and observe and watch and then just see what happens. And knowing that even if I don't kick myself and push myself and force myself and make myself do something, even if it feels like it's something that I want to do, I don't want to have to be the one that causes that to happen anymore, because I just want life to take over me. So I think in this experience, my biggest takeaway is that I've come to realize that even if I don't try, life is still going to find an expression through me. And I don't desire to make myself an expression of myself. I desire myself just to be a vehicle, just to be an expression of life in itself, so that I don't have to do anything. Everything that I do is just a result, a consequence of me completely letting go and saying, you know what, life, like you can grab the steering wheel, and I'm going to just let you direct me in whatever direction that you think is most appropriate to take me, and I'm just going to follow the energy. And this way it really feels a lot more effortless. It feels more liberating. It feels a lot more free. And it really also allows me to trust the life force that I have in me, because having this experience of not caring at all and feeling just so disconnected with life, I've come to realize that you cannot run away from life, and you cannot be more disconnected. It's not possible to be even more disconnected, because the life force, whether you like it or not, whether you acknowledge it or not, whether if you decide to see it or if you choose to pay attention to it or not, your life force is coursing through you, and it will take the lead no matter if you like it or not. So at this place of surrender, it's just the most beautiful feeling to just let it lead you and allow life to express itself however it wants to be expressed through you, so that you can just lean back, enjoy life, savor life, and allow life to do its own thing through you. So this is the message that I have for you today. I did not think about this message at all. It was just purely from a place of receptivity, and I hope that you enjoyed being in this energy together. Let me know what you think of this video. I appreciate you so much for being here, and I love you. With that said, take care, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.